Welcome back to my channel. My name is SHA-DAY and it's early. I'm actually just came in here really quickly because I wanted to film this video before I go upstairs and do my walk today, but I've been wanting to share this for so long and I just couldn't wait. So I hope you guys don't mind it being a little bit informal today, and we're just gonna chat for a little bit. So if you haven't noticed, I have something really special, and that is the Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck workbook. But actually it's not the workbook, I actually got the booklets because they were all sold out. So I was able to get my hands on the booklets. I think it was just after Black Friday, and I think I'm gonna actually really like the booklets versus the workbook. Not to say I don't want the, big spread or whatever, but I have this beautiful bookshelf here, and I'm thinking that, once I'm done, these can be like displayed or something. I don't know. But I started with a small notebook like this because I was really excited to get started, and this didn't exist, and she was sold out. Like, the new designs were coming out in October, and that was sort of their routine, was that they would release these once a year around October. But as of now, and I'm happy to share with you guys that the full-size workbook, and I think these are still available. I'm going to open it up so you guys can see it in a moment, but they are restocking the full size like every day. So go to her website, thebudgetmom.com, and check that out, or after you watch this video. But I will have everything linked below so you can get all of that information. But let me first talk about, I'm gonna put this aside, I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but how I found KimiGo is kind of a funny story, a very special story to me. And if you have discovered the Budget Mom, please leave your testimonials in the comments below. I would really love to know how she came into your life, even though it's virtual. We don't know her personally, but you kind of feel like you do because she's so transparent, and she shares literally her real numbers, like her personal finance numbers, and a little bit of her business as she's growing in her business as well. But so the first time I heard about the Budget Mom or her methods was I was Christmas shopping a few years ago with my friend Ashley, and she was talking about how she's an all cash spender and all these things and her budget, and I just knew that she was more prepared than me to go grocery shopping, Christmas shopping, than I was. And Christmas was the time of year where I could shop till I dropped. Like, it was my one time of year that I look forward to just really spoil my friends and family. Like, I spared no expense. And of course, while I was shopping for them, I was shopping for me too. And then come January, I'm like, dang, why did I spend so much money? Sound familiar? So that was the first time that I heard about it, but it didn't quite stick. Sorry. When I'm in the office, it's a little bit closer to the street, so hopefully those trucks aren't too loud. And then I am awake now and talking because I was like, it's not such a good idea to talk when I'm just waking up and getting started, haven't had any coffee or anything. But anywho, so the second time that I was introduced to not necessarily the Budget Mom, but this whole idea of using cash envelopes was at my sorority sister, my line sister, Jaquila Ross. It's a little bit of a not shameless plug. I'm happy to, promote her business because she's amazing. But I went to one of her financial workshops, and she was talking about cash envelopes. It was a whole workshop on a lot of things, but that was one thing that was brought up, and I'm like, there goes those cash envelopes again. So I will leave her information down below too, because she does personal finance consulting, as well as if you need someone to help you with your taxes, she can do that as well. So the third time, which was So funny. I went to go visit my boyfriend who was living, he obviously is living with me now, but we're together now. But he was in Los Angeles for a couple years, and I went to go visit him. And on his kitchen counter were cash envelopes. And he was explaining to me, what he was doing with his groceries and his gas budget and all this. And I was just like, now he's doing it. So finally, I started thinking about, well, I still forgot about those 3 instances, but in the back of my mind, the wheels were turning, and I was just thinking about better ways that I could get organized personally because, there were all these fancy apps like Mint and Every Dollar that were coming out or were out, and I was, discovering, and I just couldn't get into it. Like, it just wasn't working for me. And what always did work for me was pen to paper. And I would have a notebook and I would write out my monthly expenses and blah, blah, blah. And like, it wasn't as, I feel like the Budget Mom is a way more sophisticated system, very much so. And it does everything that you would probably want to do like in an Excel spreadsheet. Like if you wanted to scan these and make it electronic, you could do that. There is a PDF version of it that you can download, but pen to paper was always like, I can see when I'm like, it's just a different level of clarity when you're pen to paper. But I felt a little embarrassed to even say that because I'm pretty sure everyone else is using like Excel or these apps to manage their personal finances, and here I am with this notebook. So she validated that that was okay for me. And it's just funny how you have those ideas in your head, like you think you're not good enough, but you are. But there's still so much I had to learn because I was good at saving and paying my bills on time. But then there was that money that was left over that I was just like, what do I do with it? Or even when I was just starting out with my full-time work after college, like even though that was a small salary and it might have been only $30 left over, what do I want to do with that $30? It's still income or money that I could save, invest. Like just because it's a small dollar amount, like something under $100, doesn't mean that it's insignificant. And that was something that opened my eyes as well, is that I should care about even that $1, about where and how I want to, spend it. And so then I started dreaming as I got older, like, okay, I've been renting for a long time. Like, do I want to buy a house? I was really crushed by the house buying process. That's something that I did try to do in my early 20s. And I'm 31 now, just turned 31 last Wednesday. And it was brutal. Like, home buying is it's a whole process. Maybe I'll tell that story later, but I ended up finding my dream apartment and living there for 6 or 7 years. But then it was like, okay, well, my savings that I had for my house were pretty much almost gone. I was just like, well, what are we going to do? How am I going to now save for a home again now that I, am living on my own and paying my own bills, like all these, being a young adult and figuring it out. And is that impossible for me, now in this stage, like now that I'm not like living with my parents when I was working full time and I could blow half my paycheck and then save it. So just juggling and thinking of all of that and how I can do that with my current income and my current living situation and saving for a house. So didn't really know, but I just figured, hey, maybe pray about it. Something will come. I could probably have reached out to certain people, but I think there's just a certain, not so much like shame or guilt, or I don't know what it is, but you're just afraid. I think there's that fear of reaching out and asking questions like this because you don't know who you can talk to. And with my dad, I'm not gonna lie, like I have both my parents, and I can always use them as a resource. They're very good with their personal finances and things like that. But then there's that level of like, I don't want to feel judged for what I don't know. I don't know. It's all in your head, right? But anyway, I'm dreaming about a home, and I was actually talking to my line sister about it. Like, okay, I really want to start saving for a home again, and I have this 2 or 3 year goal. Blah blah blah. Didn't hit it. time came and gone. But lo and behold, I get on YouTube and I see this thumbnail that says TVM buys house with cash, buys dream house with cash. And I was just like, that's crazy, because that's sort of what I want to do. Like, even if I buy property and then use that to then put towards my dream home that I pay in cash, where I don't have a mortgage or anything like that, like that is a big goal of mine. And so here's this YouTube video, and so I watch it. I'm in tears. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And it just made it what I've been having in my head for so long a reality. Like, I see someone doing it. Like, this is like $400,000 or $500,000 in cash. Like, that seemed impossible to me at the time, but to see someone do it, and thank God for Kimiko for just having the courage to share something like that, turns a lot of people into believers, right? Like, oh, if she can do it, so can I. So that's how I found Kimiko, and I've been, obsessed with her ever since, and following her on social media and things like that. And so I started adopting her principles, especially the cash envelopes. I'm looking at all my cash envelopes over here, and if you're looking at this, you're like, Shay, those are envelopes, I got these at the dollar store. Like, I'm not kidding. When I tell you I wanted to get started right away, I could not wait till October until her stuff came out. Sorry, Kimiko. And I didn't have a printer, so I couldn't print and I was like, you know what? And that's probably something I need to like make sure that I have in my budget to buy. I have a printer now. It's sitting right here, but I was like, what can I do to get started for like $10? So I went to Target, and I was very adamant that I'm going to Target just for this, and I'm getting out of there. And I got this little Mead 2 subject. Well, there's like a pocket folder in the middle, which I love because it can hold like receipts and things like that. So, but the front side of it, I have my trackers. So she shares her recaps every month. So I did my best to kind of like imitate that format of the expense tracker for your checking account, as well as your cash spending tracker. And then I have my paycheck bill trackers. And then I started to get into the Where Did My Money Go worksheet. But is it difficult? I pretty much use this like a bullet journal. And let me see if I can give you guys an idea. But I was pretty much doing that here. And it's not easy. What her product is way better than this, but it will get you started. And so watch one of those videos and write it out. And my very first month, what I did was I just went through my statement in my checking account, and I wrote everything down. And I'm going to reiterate, when you write it down, even though it's like you're copying what's on the screen, in your mind, you're like, oh, you start to remember when you spent that money, or when you saved that money, or blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a connection, and you have an emotional connection to what you're doing. And when you do that, then that's when you start to be able to make all these little decisions about how you want to improve and get better. So we all have room to grow, no matter what your income level is, your social economic status. Like, even Miko right now, where she is and all that she's learned and knows now, she still has room to grow, and she says it herself. Like, even with her newest adoption of her dog Toby, and really figuring out what her pet budget should really be. So like, even little things like that, she's still not maybe like really struggles, but there's still that adjustment phase in your personal finances. And that's something that we'll all experience until we become millionaires and beyond. Like, we'll all experience those adjustments in our personal finances when we try something new. So just want to encourage you guys that it doesn't matter like what you see on the outside, whether someone has nice things or things like that. Like, that doesn't mean that they know what they're doing personally. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So, like I said, I wanted to get started right away, and I started tracking in this notebook, and then I had some like goals for my like checking account cushion. I wanted to like highlight how I was achieving that goal. I started the sinking funds like Christmas and Thanksgiving. I still actually have money left over from my money that I saved for Christmas. Like I've had this for, I think I started these 6 months ago. I saved for my sorority dues, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthdays. So I just love these sinking funds, and I love the variable spending because of that is your budget killer. Like the money that you just take to the grocery store and you just spend it and you don't really have an actual budget for it. The money you take to Target or Home Goods or TJ Maxx and you go there for something, but then you buy all these things that you don't need because you haven't set a boundary around what you have to spend. And when I say budget, like some people don't actually like that word anymore. I don't know why, but to me the word budget is not a restriction. Like you can change the word if you need to. But to me it's freedom. To me it's having the option in the future to spend money how I want to. Like I was trying to find a better way to say that, but that's literally it. If you've ever just wanted, and that's the crazy thing. I feel like I'm spending money how and when I want to more than when I didn't have like a budget for these things. That that's just the honest to God's truth. I feel like I have more freedom, and I have peace of mind knowing that certain things like goals of mine are being achieved or worked toward while I'm living my everyday life. So like, yeah, I'm paying my bills and things like that, but I'm still saving for these bigger things in my life, and that no dollar amount is too small. Like literally for birthdays, it was like $4 or $5 a paycheck, but that added up so that over time, when so-and-so's birthday comes around and I want to buy something for them, I have something set aside that, yeah, I make cash flow some of it. And she'll explain that. I don't want to get too specific in this video. This is kind of like an overview, but I would have that money set aside so that I wouldn't have to rely on a credit card or dipping into my emergency savings or something like that to fund that, expense, that vacation, that holiday, that gift, whatever the case may be. So I have my beauty envelope. So I was just buying some envelopes from the dollar store, and that's how I got started with the Budget Mom method, and great, amazing progress. So I did want to invest in her actual product, and I think there's some envelopes in here. So, and I have my printer now so I can print my own envelopes and not have to make them. But the other cool thing, I'll say one more thing before I open this box, is that, because I'm not sure if I've really touched on it, but when you take the cash out, and this was like a little lie that I was telling myself, was that, SHA-DAY, you're already a cash spender. You only use your debit card. Well, yeah, so technically I'm spending cash on my checking account. I'm not using borrowed funds. But even if I say, okay, I have $200 for groceries that I'm going to leave in my checking account, but I know that there's more than just $200 in my checking account, right? So I go to the grocery store and I spend $250. Well, that $50 is over the budget that I set. But then I'm like, who cares? It's in there. So it's, I was able to cover it. But that's not the point. Or I set aside $200 for groceries and I only spend $100. Well, that means there's $100 still left that I said that I would budget for groceries. So what do I do with that $100 that I didn't spend? And that was the money that I was missing. And honestly, it was smaller amounts, like maybe $4 or $5 or whatever. But those little, that $4, that $5, that $10 that you didn't spend out of your budget, where is it going? Like, is it just going to accumulate and you have a checking account cushion? And that wasn't something I a term that I used prior to the Budget Mom is where she personally keeps $1,000 in her checking account at all times. And that's something that I have recently adopted to, $1,000 in my checking account at all times. But beyond that, so then I can see like anything that's beyond that, and it's not towards a bill that's coming out, because I have bills that are come out automatically. So there's $1,000, and then anything above that, if it's not towards a bill, what am I going to do with that money? Is it going to go towards a temporary savings goal? For instance, that's not that envelope. I don't know where it went, but when AJ and I moved into this apartment, the money that I was saving from like my beauty spending, like if I went to the beauty supply store, or there was a little miscellaneous fund for hey, so-and-so came into town unexpected, I want to go to lunch with them, I didn't necessarily budget for it, miscellaneous, or shoot, I forgot I ran out of multivitamins. Not necessarily want to use my grocery envelope for that, so it's like a mini emergency fund for like small unexpected cash expenses. So there's so many options with the Budget Mom. Your checking account cushion, your miscellaneous envelope. Like there's so many options for, well, what if I didn't budget for that? That's what I love her methods for, but I don't know where I put it. I had there it is. I had a moving fund envelope that I would use, that I would fill with money that these envelopes, my beauty, miscellaneous, grocery, at the end of every month, whatever I didn't spend out of it, I would move into this moving fund, and there's a way to track it in the notebook. And that money, I even have like a little tracker in here because I was seeing like what I spent. So there was some food that I did buy because it was like, okay, I wanted to make sure we had snacks for the move, water, cleaning supplies, whatever the case may be, if I needed to buy light bulbs. So any small moving expense that I could just go into the dollar store or wherever and pay cash for it, that's what this was for. The tip for our movers. Wanted to make sure I had cash for the movers. That was awesome that I was able to fund this, not necessarily out of my bi-weekly paycheck, but I funded it out of the money that I saved. Like my beauty envelope, I'm going to be doing all this later today, but I still have a few dollars in here for my beauty envelope. I'm going to decide what I want to do with those few dollars. So I hope that's making some sense, and that has been awesome for me. And then you can apply these personal finance tips to your business if that's something that you aspire to do. It's the same, a lot of the same principles. This has really set a foundation for me, and I can see into the future now and how I'm going to be able to save for our first home and all of those things. So without further ado, let's get this box open. I think there's something really pretty under here, so I'm going to open it up this way. Oh, thank you for supporting TBM. I appreciate you, Kimiko Love. How beautiful. Okay. So, what have we got? Get the You and Your Friends Are Awesome discount, 10% off. Use this coupon code for any one-time purchase in the TBM shop. Can you guys use this? Can you get that? I'll give it, I don't know. Is that just for, it's a You and Your Friends Are Awesome. I don't know. Don't tell anyone I shared that with you. But anyway, I got the teller slips. Okay, so this is something funny too, because I was using Post-it notes for my teller slips, and do the people at the bank think I'm crazy? But now they're gonna see these. So I've got some teller slips, and look at the packaging, like, you guys. The purple tissue paper, like, and when AJ saw this, he was like, "Oh, you got it." I didn't even think he would even recognize like what this was, but he saw the the box and was like, oh, you got your workbook. So I think that's fun. And he does listen to me or listen to her when I watch her on Fridays. Every Friday she does like a live Q&A on her Instagram. So he hears when I'm watching that. Okay. How pretty. So I think there were 2 different designs. I forgot what they were called, but I know I went with like the animal print. I don't know why I'm smelling. That's weird. That was really weird, SHA-DAY. But it smells like so fresh, like fresh off the Anyway, these are the work booklets. So they are broken down by month. And I felt like that would be a great way for me to transition from this, because this is kind of small and it feels like these month to month, so you can use them. Oh, there's the instruction. She said they've spent so much time working on this instruction manual, and is that what I took out? Yeah, and getting it super specific, so you can really read this and sit down and really learn and understand how to use these. And so you have some stickers and a little note from Miko, and then you have your months. So you can work 1 month at a time. You get closer again. 1 month at a time. And then they're in this cute little, like, I don't know, shelf thing. So I can't find any of my words today. So I can just put it up on my bookshelf that I got over here, and that's that. So look, the designs, they're super pretty. They feel very high quality. Like, this is not a flimsy booklet. Put in who it belongs to, and she goes in detail much better than I can on all of this. So these are the bill trackers. You have your monthly calendar. And so for my monthly calendar, I was just using my planner, that little planner that I showed you guys in my last video. So paycheck, bill tracker, and just writing everything out. I'm gonna get some more highlighters so I can highlight my categories, but I'm so excited to start using these. I'm actually going to start in February, and I'm not gonna say I'm not nervous, because I am, because I don't want to mess them up. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're like me, where you want it to stay like pretty and neat. Whereas this, I didn't really care. But that's not what this is about. If you mess up, get a little, I have a whiteout thing that I got from the dollar store. So if you need to use whiteout, do that. Because I do like to write in pen in these. I think it would be nicer to write in a pen. So starting in February, because I already started January in there, so then January 2022 I can use this one. So that's it, you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. I don't know what that was. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I need to get upstairs and do my walk now, but please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know your testimonies from the Budget Mom, if you guys use any of her products. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.
Thank you.